Hey everybody, before the show starts, log on to musicmoneymakeover.com/shop to download all my books and free guides. And while you're there, make sure you click on the book a call tab to book a call with me to get all your questions answered and your problem solved. Enjoy the show. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Music Money Makeover Show. My name is Casey Graham. I thank you so much for coming back. All right, 2021, we got a lot of stuff to talk about this year, all right? But I'm going to delve into some things that I've been getting a lot of questions on. And this year, I'm going to clear up a lot of the beat leasing stuff so you all feel comfortable about getting started, as a producer leasing beats. So today, we are jumping into leasing, licensing, or exclusive licensing, rather, and ownership of beats when it comes to purchasing. Now, this is for the artist perspective right here. So without further ado, we're going to jump into the definition of copyright, and then we're going to explain it, and then we're going to hop into the video. Check it out. So copyright, real quickly. The sole right which an author has in his own original literary compositions. The exclusive right of an author to print, publish, and vend his own literary works for his own benefit. All right, so with that being said, you can see that the copyright strictly focuses on the rights that the person who created this particular work has. All right, it's going to give right to use that work to this one person right here. Okay, let's keep it moving. So we got to talk about the two types of copyrights that are involved in the U.S. and amongst the other countries in the Berne Convention, and that is the sound recording copyright and the performing arts copyright. At least that's what we call them here in the United States. Okay, so let's jump into it. Check it out. All right, so the sound recording copyright. Sound recordings, as in records or records, the audio recording file, i.e. the WAV, MP3, AIFF of the composition and or song. All right, and then the performing arts copyright. Performing arts as in the composition, sheet music, publishing, or song to be performed. That also includes the MIDI regions that come inside Logic and Ableton and the Akai Beats program, you name it. The MIDI regions are actually the arrangement of the notes. So those are the digitized versions of the sheet music that revolves around the performing arts copyright right there. It isn't until you press bounce within the digital audio workstation that you create an audio recording or sound recording of your actual composition. All right, so now that we got that explained right there, the next thing that we need to go into is we need to talk about the 6 rights to copy with this. So check it out. All right, so our 6 rights to copy. All right, these are to be exercised to the fullest extent of the U.S. Constitution under Title 17. That's the right to reproduce, the right to reproduce the copyrighted work in copies or phonorecords, that's physical or digital format. The right to prepare derivative works, that means the right to prepare derivative works based upon the original copyrighted work, that is. All right, the right to distribute, the right to distribute copies or phonorecords of the copyrighted work to the public by sale or other transfer of ownership, or by rental, lease, or lending. All right, let's keep it moving. The right to public performance, the right to perform the copyrighted work publicly. The right to public display, the right to display the copyrighted work publicly. All right, and the right to digital performance, the right to digital audio transmission performance. Okay, so we got that covered. Like I said, that's going to be in every video. I'll probably stop saying this by the end of July, and we'll just jump into it. You know it's coming automatically. Anyway, we got to jump into lease. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Let's jump into it. What is a lease? I feel like I need to explain this for everyone so that they understand. Artists, mainly artists, and then new producers. So if you're just getting hip to Beatstars and you want to start leasing beats, lease. Let's talk about it. Check it out. To let, to demise, to grant the temporary possession of intellectual property to another for a rent reserved. A lease to B his beat in Miami for the small rent of $25. Okay? See that right there? So understand, artists, when you're leasing a beat, you do not own it. It is merely a small rent fee to borrow it for whatever the term is and whatever the limit on the usage is. All right? Let's dig into it a little bit more here. The leasing process. When you are leasing a beat, you are just paying a small fee in exchange for an allowance to use the beat. You get that? You are just paying a small fee in exchange for an allowance to use the beat, including its compositional intellectual property, all right, otherwise known as the performing arts copyright, and the recorded performance of the composition in its master sound recording form, all right, otherwise known as the sound recording copyright. It is subject to the term or time length of the agreement and considerations or the money paid for the beat. The music producer will withhold or reserve all rights to his or her composition and sound recording. The reason why I had to underline some of those phrases is because you don't get to own it with the lease, okay? That's it. And I know a lot of you got some questions right here about, well, how do we own it? You know, I thought if I leased it or if I exclusive license it, or I licensed it exclusively, I thought I get to own it. Well, we're going to jump into that exclusive license in a second, but on the lease, I want you to understand that you do not own this thing. So, you know, how do we get to that ownership? Well, we'll get there, and we'll get there in a minute later in the video, but just stay with me right here. We got to jump into exclusive licensing. So let's address it. We got to drop some definitions on the screen. So here we go. Exclusive, having the power of preventing entrance as exclusive bars. All right. Debarring from participation, possessed and enjoyed to the exclusion of others as an exclusive privilege. All right. And I'm just going to keep it going with the license right here. The license to permit by grant of authority to remove legal restraint by a grant of permission. Now, as you all might have seen in some of my last videos, I love to use the Webster's 1828 dictionary and the Black's Law dictionary as well when I'm bringing these terms to you all. But now that you can see, we have some, well, exclusivity. All right. So now we can utilize this beat. When we pay for that exclusive license, that's like $200 some. We can actually reserve a time length or space. I've heard some up to 10 years, maybe some 3, where you get the exclusive range to do what it is you need to promote this beat, and they can take it off the shelf, all right, for you with the exclusive license. All right. So let's delve into this exclusive license. What are you really trying to say, Casey? Check it out. The licensing process. When you are exclusively licensing a beat, you are just paying a fee, a little bit larger than the actual lease that I just talked about. All right, in exchange for an allowance to use the beat, including its compositional intellectual property, otherwise known as the performing arts copyright, and the recorded performance of the composition in its master sound recording form. See, we got these copyrights again right here. All right, i.e. the audio file, MP3, waiver, AIFF, and it's otherwise known as the sound recording copyright. It is subject to the term or time length of the agreement and considerations, or the money, paid for the beat. The music producer will withhold or reserve all rights to his or her composition and sound recording. Yet again, even though you're licensing stuff exclusively, you do not get the rights to the producer's arrangement and composition, and you do not get the rights to the sound recording. Really what that exclusive license is doing is just giving you a time period of exclusivity. All right? That's it. That's what you paid that money for. Now, you can get your BMI share on your writing for the song. You can collect your mechanicals for the writing of the song. You can collect all the other royalties for the writing of the song. You can collect your sound exchange royalties, and you got that window that they gave you to push on promotion really, really hard. All right? But let's say you do some really hard promo and it starts to get really big, and you have exceeded the limit on the streams that the producer has allowed you to get as an artist, and you got to come back to the table. Well, guess what? We got to talk about ownership, and things won't look so much the same as they did on the lease and the exclusive license. So let's check out ownership. As a noun, is the property, exclusive right of possession, legal or just claim or title. The ownership of the estate is in A, but the possession is in B. All right? Now, that was just an example of, you know, how someone can own something, but then another person has possession of it. But that's just the definition. When it comes to you all, the ownership of the sound recording, master sound recording, will go to you once you have ownership rights. All right? And then The ownership of the arrangement, if it's written that way, will go to you. But you're going to see once I break these costs down what it really looks like to have ownership in this stuff. Check it out. Now, ownership is different. When you own the beat, you're going to pay one price for the sound recording, in which case a transference of rights. Pause. All right, I'm back on the screen. The transference of rights has to be written. You might have heard me say this in how to own your masters and how to own your publishing. You might have heard me say that somewhere in the midpoint of the video. The transference of rights is key. I don't care who you are. If someone sells you a beat for $1,000 and they don't give you the transference of rights, which technically will be in the producer's agreement saying that they will transfer you the master rights, all right, to you, the artist or the record company. If that is not written and someone gives you $1,000, $10,000, and the transfer is not written so that it can be shown on record, then you just gave them $10,000 without proof of ownership. Happens all the time. Or you give somebody, yeah, you can have the beat. Well, technically not really, because when we have to go to court, well, there's no proof of ownership that you actually transferred it from the producer to the artist or the producer to the label. That's why these contracts are so important. Let's keep reading. All right. In which case, a transference of rights will be included in the agreement that appoints this copyright to you. If you're feeling lucky, you may ask the producer if he or she will accept a buyout on their performing arts copyright, otherwise known as the composition, their publishing, or song. And if allowed to do so, the fee will be added on top of the original sound recording fee. Now, unless the producer says that, hey, you can buy me out with $1,000, which is, I can't imagine a producer saying you can buy my publishing and my master sound recording rights for $1,000, unless they were really in a desperate situation. Chances are you're going to have to pay for both. I recommend producers you take consideration, meaning money, as I said earlier in the show, for both of those rights. All right, you need some consideration. All right, for that. Let's see what it looks like. Let me throw some realistic numbers on the screen right here. Check it out. If we're going to transfer this ownership, as you can see, the producer will have a contract, the producer's contract between the artist and or label, whoever will be the new owner of the sound recording. You're going to sign this contract. All right. Compensation will be exchanged at the same time of the contract. Now, if you look at where the producer owns 100% of the master and 100% of the composition, when that transfer happens, the artist and the label will get the sound recording, and then the artist and the producer will split the composition 50-50. Sound recording always goes to the label, and composition has everything to do with publishing. All right, let us move forward so you can see these fees that I'm talking about. Put it on the screen real quick. So, typical independent buyout prices are $1,000 to $5,000 for an independent artist. All right, that's if you want to buy the sound recording rights. That's typical. That's a typical producer agreement. Now, if you want to get fancy, like I said, and buy the composition out from the producer, meaning taking the livelihood of the producer. When you take the livelihood, this is what the producer uses to eat, to feed his or her family. The publishing money. All right. I can't imagine a producer doing this, but sometimes and in some cases it does happen with artists. I can foresee it like with a production company or a movie house. I can see it happening there, but not with an artist. Okay. And if as an artist or record label, you can actually get this, okay, then kudos to you. But it's going to cost you more than the actual master recording, because producers do business on the master recording all the time. They do not expect to do business on their publishing with the entity that will distribute the record. So if you look at the price again on the screen here, you can see that it will go anywhere from an additional $1,000 to $10,000, because, as I said, you're taking the lifeblood away from the producer at that point. So you're going to have to really cough up some cash as the artist or the new record label to get the publishing. And besides, as a record label, you don't even have no business dealing with publishing anyway, because you're so busy trying to exploit the sound recording. Okay, so I just want you all to be mindful of that. And tell me how you like these new slides and everything I got going on, because I want to bring these visuals to everybody. If you need more information on how to collect all this money, you can find the links below. I have materials that will help you understand the collection process, how to sign up, and how to get every penny you can possibly get from the collection process of your royalties when it comes to publishing. Please like, comment, and subscribe on this video, and I will see you all next time. Peace. Hey everybody, thanks for watching the show. Make sure you log on to musicmoneymakeover.com/shop to download all my books and free guides. And while you're there, click on the Book a Call tab to book a call with me to get all your questions answered and problems solved. I'll see you all soon.